In today's modern world, one of the most frequently asked questions that men direct to urologists, psychologists, or even social media forums is, how can I increase my size, how can I get longer, thicker, and is there a way to finally feel confident about my body? This is not just a matter of casual curiosity, but a reflection of a silent yet widespread anxiety among men about their sexual organs. As the internet and especially the pornography industry have flooded daily life with exaggerated images, many men have unintentionally developed distorted standards of what is normal. This has led to a wave of dissatisfaction, expressed in countless ways: I'm not big enough, I'm not satisfied with myself, or I want to change to feel confident. To understand this issue fully, we must first look at scientific studies conducted over many years. In one large-scale survey of 50,000 heterosexual men worldwide, it was revealed that 55% of them felt unhappy about the appearance or size of their penis. This is a striking number, showing that more than half of men live with body insecurity, even though in reality, the standards they compare themselves to are far from accurate. Interestingly, when their partners were asked, the results were the opposite. 85% of women reported being satisfied with their partner's body. This reveals a clear truth: the problem does not lie in how others perceive them, but in the self-image men hold within themselves. Yet this self-doubt has enormous power. It drives millions of men into states of insecurity, loss of confidence, and in some cases, long-term psychological disorders. From a medical standpoint, the average length of an erect penis, according to studies compiling tens of thousands of samples, is about 13.2 centimeters (5.2 inches). Of course, this figure varies, and any measurement within 2 standard deviations above or below is considered perfectly normal. In other words, slightly shorter or slightly longer than average still falls within the healthy range. The only time penis size is considered truly abnormal is when the erect length measures under 7.5 centimeters (2.9 inches). This rare condition, known medically as micropenis, affects less than 0.14% of the male population, fewer than 1 in 700 men. Its causes may include congenital issues, hormonal disorders, problems during fetal development, or surgeries and cancer treatments. However, the vast majority of men who worry about their size do not have micropenis. They are medically normal, but trapped in the belief that they are inadequate. This anxiety has a clinical name: small penis anxiety. It is a form of body dysmorphic disorder (BDD), in which individuals obsess over perceived flaws that often don't exist. In this case, men become fixated on the idea that their penis is too small, spending hours daily measuring, comparing, and worrying. They browse endless online articles, forums, or pornographic content, reinforcing their insecurities. This obsession can disrupt daily life, work, relationships, and in severe cases, lead to depression or even suicidal thoughts. Far from being a trivial concern, this is a serious men's health issue. When anxious men turn to the internet for solutions, they are overwhelmed with countless advertisements promising miraculous enlargement pills, creams, devices, and surgeries from unlicensed providers. Many, desperate for change, spend fortunes or even travel abroad, often returning with permanent injuries and regret. The Sexual Medicine Society of North America has issued a clear statement. Procedures for penile lengthening or girth enhancement are not recommended, except in rare cases of micropenis, because most are experimental, unproven, and risky. So, what legitimate options exist? In the medical literature, treatments fall into 2 categories: non-surgical and surgical. The most effective non-surgical approach is psychological counseling. Through standardized assessments, therapists help men understand what is normal and address the anxiety fueling their dissatisfaction. Astonishingly, studies show that most men, after counseling, no longer feel the need for physical interventions. This highlights the central role of perception. The problem is not their body, it is how they see their body. Once this is corrected, the obsession fades. Among non-surgical methods, 3 are commonly mentioned: penile extenders, vacuum erection devices, and injections. Of these, only penile extenders have credible scientific support. These devices hold the penis in a frame with rods and a silicone ring. applying gentle traction for hours daily over several months. Research shows compliant users may gain around 2 centimeters in length. While real, the increase is modest and requires extraordinary patience. Side effects like numbness and bruising can occur. But overall, it is the only method consistently proven effective. Vacuum pumps, often heavily marketed, do not cause permanent enlargement. They temporarily induce erection by drawing blood into the penis. But once removed, the effect disappears. Injections, such as fat grafts, fillers, or silicone, are dangerous and have led to catastrophic complications, ranging from deformity to tissue death even decades later. For this reason, they are strongly discouraged. Surgical methods are even more controversial. One common operation involves cutting the suspensory ligament that attaches the penis to the pubic bone, making the shaft appear longer. However, this disrupts erection stability and can result in unsatisfactory outcomes. Other techniques involve grafts, skin flaps, or cartilage implants. But these are poorly studied and often leave men with complications worse than the problem they tried to solve. Experts stress that such procedures should only be attempted under strict clinical trials, monitored by ethical review boards. Ultimately, the truth is that natural penis size cannot be drastically altered. Extenders may yield small improvements, but the risks of surgery or injections far outweigh the potential gains. The most important solution lies in addressing the psychological aspect. By seeking counseling and correcting distorted beliefs, men can free themselves from destructive anxiety. The real measure of masculinity lies not in centimeters, but in health, confidence, and the ability to love oneself and others. This issue cannot be separated from cultural influences. For centuries, masculinity has been tied to physical size and power. And modern media has exaggerated this connection. Just as women face pressure to conform to unrealistic beauty standards, men face silent pressure about their genitals. The constant comparisons foster deep insecurities, even when men fall within normal ranges. In relationships, these insecurities often harm intimacy, as men withdraw, hide, or overcompensate. Many women express frustration that their partners worry endlessly about size, instead of focusing on emotional connection and shared experiences. Surveys repeatedly confirm that most women value affection, care, and confidence over physical measurements. Thus, the most important advice is to seek professional guidance, rather than quick fixes. Sometimes a few counseling sessions and exposure to scientific facts are enough to dispel illusions. For men who still seek physical interventions, understanding the limitations and risks is crucial. Extenders may provide minimal gains at best. Pumps do not work. Long-term injections are hazardous, and surgery remains unproven and unsafe outside clinical studies. This reality should encourage men to shift their focus toward health and self-acceptance. Building physical strength, nurturing relationships, and developing psychological resilience all contribute far more to confidence than chasing unrealistic ideals. The so-called small penis anxiety is not a reflection of reality, but of distorted perception. Armed with accurate knowledge and proper support, men can break free from this cycle of self-doubt. The conclusion is clear: a man's worth cannot be measured in centimeters. True strength lies in confidence, maturity, empathy, and the ability to care for oneself and others. A healthy body, a stable mind, and a compassionate heart are the real standards of masculinity. By embracing these values, men can liberate themselves from false comparisons, reclaim their dignity, and live fully, without being chained to illusions about size.